have the
This
camera on and
conference
I
will
can't
now
get it
be
working.
recorded.
So, welcome everyone to the North Carolina's webinar series. Appreciate you joining us this Friday. I'm sorry that I can't be have my audio on, but we're having some technical difficulties this morning. But I'm Toni Lively, and I'm the chair of the Education Committee. I'm also the executive director of VOA's Senior Community Care Program here in Durham. So we're going to be talking about gratitude this month, and I think that's a great topic for 2020 because we've all struggled and at times have felt overwhelmed, and many of us are tired, and many of our participants are tired of being isolated, and the holidays are coming up, and there continues to be a growth in the COVID. So I saw a quote that sums up 2020 very well. It said, "This is not the year to get everything you want. This is the year to appreciate everything you have." And I know each day in our IDT meeting, we start by saying our mission statement, and then we share an inspirational story. And basically, that's one of the IDT members sharing with the team something that's happened that's positive or encouraging, and sometimes it's just funny. But it helps us stay focused, and it reminds us why we do what we're doing. And there's so much to be grateful for, even in the midst of a pandemic. So today we have Reverend Chuck DeGroat, and Chuck was our former chaplain at Senior Community Care, but he has accepted another position with us, fortunately, and he's the director of Durham County. But he is going to be talking about gratitude. And then following Chuck, Joanne Turner, who's a nurse practitioner at Pace at Home. She will show us how to create a gratitude journal. So I'm going to turn it over for Chuck right now, to Chuck, and he'll get started. Thanks, Chuck, for joining us today and agreeing to do this.
Well, thank you for having me, and glad to be of service. So, let's see if I can do this properly. Are you all seeing my screen? Gratitude is something we start learning even as little children. I'm sure we've all experienced that. Where now, tell so-and-so, tell Aunt Jane that you're thankful for that. Say thank you. Tell Mima, Papa, you know. And so we all learn that very early on. And we've also learned the very positive feeling that comes from being appreciated when somebody says thank you back to you for something that you did. So there are various definitions of gratitude out there, and Webster's dictionary simply puts it as the state of being grateful.
We can't see your PowerPoint.
Oh, you can't?
No, can you try sharing your screen?
I hit share screen.
It did not work.
I don't know. It says share my screen. Is it sharing now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, now it is.
I apologize for that. So. All right, so another definition that I came upon was the quality of being thankful, a readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. It actually comes from I don't know what's going on, it's froze up. So we'll try, maybe. Huh. There it goes. It comes from the Latin word gratus, which means thankful or pleasing. You know, when you feel gratitude, you're pleased by what someone did for you and also pleased by the results. Unlike indebtedness, you're not anxious about having to pay it back. A feeling of appreciation is felt by, or a similar positive response shown by a recipient of kindness, gifts, help, favors, and other types of generosity towards the giver of gifts, right? From the realm of positive psychology, gratitude is a thankful appreciation for what an individual receives, whether tangible or intangible. With gratitude, people acknowledge the goodness in their lives. I really liked that definition when I found it. And in touching base with Joanne Turner, that's going to be sharing on how to develop your own gratitude journal later, I thought this was very apropos. So gratitude is the general practice of expressing thanks for good things, especially undeserved and altruistic that you've experienced. And it's more than just feeling thankful, it's a deeper appreciation for someone or something that produces longer lasting positivity. Gratitude has psychosocial aspects. The positive psychology research has shown that gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Attitude of gratitude impacts how we feel during the day. I mean, thanklessness actually deprives people of emotional and psychosocial benefits of gratitude, whereas gratitude also enhances social aspects, your interpersonal and communal relationships. I mean, everything I've read and looked at is saying that gratitude is a social emotion that signals our recognition of the things that others have done for us. And of course, there are many religious aspects of gratitude. It was interesting to me that positive psychology is picking up on that as a chaplain, I found that very interesting. That gratitude is very much connected with how people connect to something larger than themselves. So whether it be other people or nature or the higher power. Philosophers have written about the importance of gratitude as a very important human virtue and trait and a state of being for thousands of years. I mean, people like Cicero and many others. And it's been discussed as a key foundational virtue for any successful civilization. The various religions extol its praises. Judaism encourages people to express thankfulness every day just for waking up again. Islam's 5 daily prayers. You may not be aware of that, but they are actually not times to sit down and ask things from God. They're actually meant to be times throughout your day of giving thanks for his many blessings in your life. And of course, Christianity encourages a lifestyle of thankfulness. And that when asking for requests, thankfulness is encouraged for the things that we've already received. 1 Thessalonians 5, verses 16 through 18. This is just an example of this, but it says, rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and in everything give thanks. For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. I know as a Christian minister, I've always reminded people they want to know how to serve God in their lives. And I say, here's a verse, a few verses that actually explain what God wants you to be involved in. And one of those things is giving thanks. Buddhism as well. I mean, people are familiar with the concept of karma, which reminds us that what you give out comes back. So we encourage everybody to give out positive acts of kindness and gratitude. Gratitude is also connected with generosity. Gratitude for things owed or expected, such as on your job, can encourage generosity in your workplace, and further expressions of gratitude will just continue to grow. So I wanted to talk about a few things that gratitude is. It's a selfless act, something that's just freely given. We also know that it's contagious. It can actually change the atmosphere where you're at. It's like a chain reaction that's set off. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Pay It Forward, but it tells a story and demonstrates powerfully how such character traits can grow exponentially and impact a whole community. And of course, gratitude is a stress reliever, and we all want to relieve stress in these trying, unending COVID stressors that are happening all around us. We also want to encourage a positive workplace. So gratitude accomplishes that. Gratitude is also a state of being, a rich emotion from an experience of either giving or receiving selflessly. So we actually can get into a state of being grateful, but it's also a character trait. And as a character strength, it can be developed with awareness and practice. I mean, just try this gratitude exercise. Before getting out of bed, start your day by thinking of 3 things for which you're thankful. Or before going to bed, do the same thing. And teach your children to do the same. Model it for them, sharing what you're grateful for. And we can cultivate an attitude of gratitude. From positive psychology, Dr. Robert Emmons has found 9 benefits of gratitude that I think you'll find interesting. One is enhanced well-being. There are a lot of studies that have been done over the last 20, even 30 years that are showing that there are well-founded statistics that people are more agreeable, they're more open, they experience less depression, and just overall greater life satisfaction if they choose an attitude of being grateful. Also, relationships are enhanced. It strengthens interpersonal relationships. Gratitude can be used to apologize or make amends when there's been a stress in a relationship. Studies show that people who are grateful are more willing to forgive. They're more readily able to do that. And gratitude interventions can positively impact relationships. It's something that counselors have come to find is very powerful in strengthening and healing fractured. It can improve optimism. Grateful people just tend to be more positive. Increased happiness. You want to be happy? Look at all the good things that have happened in your life and offer some thanksgiving for those things to those people. One study showed from 2011 that just simply by writing and delivering a simple note or letter of thanks increased levels of happiness and life satisfaction that lasted for up to a month from that experience. So it doesn't take a lot, but it can accumulate. It also helps provide stronger self-control in our lives. Choosing gratitude can increase happiness and motivation, which then helps us to continue and persevere in situations and increase self-control. Gratitude also brings about better physical and mental health. A 2015 study showed that people with heart failure, that actually they created these gratitude journals that Joanne is going to show us about. They physically experienced reduced inflammation after creating their journals. They experienced improved sleep, better moods, and the reduced signs and symptoms of heart failure. So it can impact us physically and mentally. Overall, you have a better life. Studies show you have more energy, more optimism, more social connections, more happiness, less depression, less envious, less greed. This is interesting, less alcoholics and less stress. It actually, gratitude reduces the stress hormone cortisol in our bodies by 23%, right? 80% of one study's participants exhibited an increased coherence in their heart rate variability patterns, which indicated reduced stress. There's also stronger athleticism. A lot of studies have been found that athletes that are grateful are more satisfied. They have higher levels of self-esteem, and these come together to bring about a more positive impact on their performance in their specific field. Also, the last one that Dr. Emmons found was that there are stronger neurologically based morality that's impacted. That was from a great study in 2015 that used functional MRIs that showed increased activity in areas of the brain dealing with morality, reward, and judgment, which it's just an interesting connection because there's been so much written in all of the religions about the power of gratitude. And so there are a lot of benefits to choosing an attitude and a lifestyle of gratitude. I would remind us all, gratitude isn't just simply a season where we gorge ourselves on turkey. It's more than that. It's appreciating the goodness we've received. It's both a state and a trait that we can cultivate throughout our lives that can positively impact our lives, our relationships, our workplace, and of course, our community. So thank you. I hope you're encouraged to live a life of gratitude, and we can see some of these benefits in a few moments as Joanne's going to lead us through an opportunity of creating our own gratitude journal.
Thank you very much, Chuck. I appreciate that. The 9 benefits of gratitude, that's wonderful. And the part that said gratitude is a selfless act, something freely given, so we can all do that. So now I want to turn it over to Joanne Turner, and she's part of our education, co-chair of the education committee, and she's also a nurse practitioner at Pace at Home. So she's going to show us how we can create a gratitude journal. So I'll turn it over to Joanne at this time. Thank you, Joanne.
Tony, and thank you so much, Chuck, for co-presenting with me. I think that the information that Chuck shared was just so helpful. And I love that he used the Positive Psychology website. If you never visited that, check it out. There is so much great information on their site at positivepsychology.com. And it is exactly what it sounds like. They're finding more and more that being positive has such an overwhelming benefit to all aspects of our health, to our mind and our physical body. And so one of the things in their research that they found is doing functional MRIs and watching the brain of people who exercise gratitude. They've actually found that the brain is able to rewire itself into new patterns. And so that term is called neuroplasticity, and I have a hard time saying that, but it really means that through gratitude, we can literally change the way that we think. And that is so amazing. And that's just one of the crazy ways that our bodies were designed, is that we're not stagnant, we're not stuck in ruts. We can and are supposed to be constantly moving forward and changing and improving. And so I am just so excited to share my gratitude journey with you. And I wanted to share a story before I jumped into the gratitude journal. I was driving down the road and was watching this giant hawk. And I love birds, and so hawks are one of my favorites. And so when I see them, I always pay attention because there's so many different kinds. So anyway, I'm driving along, and this hawk kind of dips down in front of me in the road, like really close to where I can make it out. And it's a red-tailed hawk, and it's one of the more common ones that we have. But it did an amazing thing. There was a field right beside me and a 3-wire barbed wire fence, so a 3-strung barbed wire fence. And instead of going like over top of the fence, he was flying really low, he went right through it. And at that moment, my mind just broke. I'm like, what? How did that happen? Was this like a magician? What just happened here? And as it just kind of tripped me out. And so when I got home and I was thinking about it later, I realized what happened. And the only way that this giant, really, really big hawk, probably 2-foot tall hawk, could go through this 3-strand barbed wire fence was to pause his flapping and hold his wings still for a moment. And that was the only way he could glide through that. And I think that that was an excellent reminder for me that in my busyness, in the things that I do, on my hunt that I'm always about, the things that I'm doing, I must stop in order to get to the place that I need to go sometimes. And for me, journaling is that pause. That's, for me, gratitude journaling specifically, but journaling is the hawk's pause in my life. It gives me that moment where if I were like that hawk and I went through that barbed wire fence and I kept flapping, I would have got caught up in all of that barbed wire and I would have been destroyed. But in the pause, you can easily glide through things that are kind of dangerous or scary or concerning to get to the destination that we're after. And so that's my story, my little tidbit that I wanted to share with you guys, is that the whole purpose behind journaling for me, and I hope for you guys, is that it will be, even if it's that 1-minute pause in your day where you can focus on gratitude and all of those amazing benefits that Chuck spoke about that happen in our mind and in our bodies when we're grateful, when we put our pen to paper and we say thank you to God or thank you to the universe for whatever's happened. And, for me today, my thanks is I am thankful for this opportunity to actually have put makeup on today. I have not worn, I almost forgot how to put it on, guys. I have not worn makeup since March. And so I was just so appreciative of being here and needing to put makeup on so you guys see the best version of me. So I want to show you, I've been journaling. My journaling journey really started when I was about 11 years old. And so I haven't saved all of them, but I have saved a good number. And I definitely have saved all of my journals dating back to 2000 when I really seriously got into journaling and started journaling every day. So I'm going to switch screens. And so y'all bear with me as I do this. We've tried it out and I think it's going to work. So I think how it will work best is for those of you guys that are on a desktop, if you can toggle to, instead of view everyone, if you can change it to view just the active camera. And then for the folks that have your camera on, if you can just turn your web camera off, that's going to make my desktop screen biggest so everybody can see what I'm up to the best. So I'm gonna raise up my phone here and get it going. Perfect. And then I'm going to turn my camera off. So now you guys can see me. So I wanted to show you, this is, and I have to remember to go backwards here. So these are just some journals that I have used over the years. These are all varying degrees of commercially bought. This is one that was a gift to me, and I use this one as a gratitude journal. So I just want you to see that what I'm going to make today is just one version of a gratitude journal, but you can buy fancy leather ones. You can buy cheapy 3-ring spiral ones that, like, this literally cost me $1. You can use a composition notebook. You can get all fancy. And this one, really, I got it on Amazon, guys. I think it was 14 bucks, but look at that gold leaf. How pretty is that? This one is mine that I'm using right now. And so this is the gratitude journal that I am writing in every day. But just so you guys know that there are all kinds of options in commercially prepared things. So even though I'm going to share with you how to make a journal from the supplies that you probably have right there at your desk, you can get fancy, but it doesn't have to be. I want to show you, as far as a homemade journal, this is what I would call the Mac Daddy. Like this was a gift. And so this is an old hymnal that a woman had made for me. And this is she's put all kinds of little embellishments. I've used some artwork here. So this, if you're interested in doing some serious hardcore journal making, message me and we can talk about how to do this one. But I just wanted to let you know, like, there are so many things that you can do. These are all pieces of paper. Some of these things that are in here are little things that she's printed out from the internet, and all kinds of embellishments and little tassels that she's done there. But I am not going to go that fancy and creative with you guys today. We don't have that kind of time. What I want to show you is a couple of options for journals that you can make with the supplies that you have right there at your desk. And so I want to start really simple. Everybody knows what this is. This is a steno book. We use quite a lot of these in our office. I bet you might even have one sitting right there beside you. And you know, the front cover of it is kind of boring, not too fun, right? So I have cut a piece of cardstock that had a fun little design, and I've taped it on there because at the time when I was doing this, I didn't have any glue. So there, in 2 seconds, literally, you can turn a boring steno book into a really cool journal. I think any of us could do that, right? That's super easy. This next one I want to show you, this says, gratitude turns what we have into enough. So this is really just 2 pieces of paper that I folded into quarters and then cut. And then I had a piece of cardstock and I cut, and I use those little clips that we don't really ever know what to do with, but we have in our drawers, and hooked it together. And so that is a quick little, guys, seriously, this one took me 2 minutes to make, and it was mostly 2 minutes trying to decide which paper I was going to use on the back side. Simple, easy way to make a gratitude journal, and you've got enough space in there to write what you may have, what you want to say thanks for, about, or doodle. So there's that. But this is where we're going today. So I love that you said attitude of gratitude. That's the little sticker that I had, and it says, in everything and all circumstances, give thanks. So this journal is all recycled. Everything from the little leaves and the stickers, the paper itself, it's all recycled. And I wanted to show you these bits here. This is, you will recognize, how many of you guys have a file folder lying around that you've used, and then you needed it for something else, so you flipped it over and you've used it again, and now it's going to go in the trash because you don't need it anymore. So what I have done with this is I have used this as part of the journal. The other thing that is part of this journal is something else that's probably lying around your office space, is a manila envelope. So if you're following along and you want to write down a supply list, you certainly can, and I will put together a supply list for us and email out to everyone with some step-by-step instructions. This one is so easy. One other thing I wanted to share is that so many folks now are getting things delivered from Amazon, and this is the packing paper that comes in those boxes. I've got so many of these boxes out right now, guys. This makes great paper for inside of your gratitude journal. This is a piece of that paper right here, and it works wonderfully. I've actually just torn a piece, and I'll show you how we put this together. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way and show you what I've done. So we've got a regular manila envelope, and you know, you guys have stacks of these that enter office mail, and usually there's list of names and they've all been crossed off. So that's perfect. Recycle those things. So let's start with a manila envelope. This is that file folder, and I've cut it to size, and the size that I use is really simple to determine. You take a regular piece of printer paper, you fold that in half, and that's your template. So then you'll use your file folder and you'll cut this to size. And there you go. Easy. This slides right inside there. Now I've got my paper that came from a different box that I've cut to size. I rated activities coloring pages, and I have a coloring page that I'm going to slide in here as well. And then I've got some construction paper that can just slide right in there. Now that one's a little bit big, and I could trim it to size. So we're going to slide all of those things in there. And I am not a perfectionist, guys, so I actually don't mind if things hang over just a little bit. I think the life is full of imperfections, and so I'm just not worried about having everything perfectly lined up. So you see, we've got it all put together. It looks like a little bit of a notebook already. But we're going to bring over our manila envelope, and really it works out. You just fold this in half. You take your stack of pages, you place that in there. I'm gonna pull that black one out because it does need cut down. All right, and see, this makes a nice little packet. And how you secure this is with something else that you probably have laying around the office anyway, is a rubber band. And we're just going to open up to the center of all of these pages and then take our rubber band and run it around. And you now have a bound book. Another thing that you can do, because the more pages you get in there, the more unlikely it is it's going to stay closed. You can use another rubber band and run around the side, and it stays closed, and you can carry it with you in your bag, and you're not going to have to worry about things falling out. Now, that is as simple as it is, and you can take a marker or a Sharpie and write, you know, Joanne's gratitude journal, date it, and then on each of these pages on the inside, you can just spend time writing about the things that you're grateful for. I will say that I like it to be a little dressier than this, but this is perfectly fine, guys. It doesn't have to be anything so fancy. I showed you, you could really use a steno book. But if you wanted to or had access to some scrapbooking paper, some of the wonderful scrapbooking paper that I found at Walmart. This whole packet with 50 sheets was $5, and there's more than enough, and I bet you probably could run up to the activities department and they may even have some old wrapping paper or something like that laying around that's bound for the trash heap that you could recycle. So you would just lay this out, trace a line so you get it right, cut it, and then use a stick of glue and attach it. And then, of course, you could do all of the embellishments like I had done on this one and personalize it and make it your own. But really, within a couple of minutes, you can have your own personalized gratitude journal. And it really, for me, is not so much about what the journal itself looks like. It's what is going on the inside, and what we're pouring out of our hearts into the pages of this. I wanted to show you one more thing that it just kind of came up yesterday. I got my 2021 planner, and as I was thinking about our gratitude journaling and the exercise for today, I was thinking about a lot of you guys, and maybe you don't feel creative, but I promise you, you all are. Everyone is creative. You just have to push through and do that. Just step out. We all had all of those fun things that we used to do in elementary school, and we were all really good at it. And somewhere along the line, we were made to believe that we were supposed to be grown up and responsible, and playing with glue sticks and crayons was a bad thing. And it's not. It is so, there's so much therapeutic benefit of that just by itself. Regardless of whether you do gratitude journal or not, playing with stickers and playing with glue and markers, there's just something amazing that happens in our brain and in our anxiety and our stress and depression. All of those things improve when we exercise some creativity. So back to my planner. One of the things that I noticed when I was opening this up yesterday and starting to fill it out, because that's what we do, right, is these individual pages. I thought, how amazing is this? This is space for gratitude journal built into our work life already. Now, I know you guys have appointments and things that are really important that you need to put in here, but I want to challenge you and tell you that adding even one line of gratitude every day before you start your work day, or as you're sitting there in morning meeting, just writing out one thing that you're grateful for today, one thing that happened amazing yesterday that you were appreciative of, having great nail polish, good lipstick, whatever it is, guys, just being able to write that down and include it in your daily activities. These planners really give us a great space to do that. And the cool thing about this, and going to Walmart maybe and getting a little sticker book that cost me 97 cents, is you can jazz this up and make it a little fun. So that's a freebie for you guys. You don't have to do any of this. I bet all of you have one of these already. If you haven't gotten one for next year, you're going to get one for next year, because we all plan our lives and we all have to stay organized. And so why not just use the space that we're given to journal some gratitude? All right, one last thought, and I'm going to switch cameras back to my facing camera, Zany. And I had sent some gratitude journal prompts and social gratitude challenge to Zany. So Zany, if you can pull those up, I'm gonna end this one and go back to my other camera here. There. All right. Can everybody see this screen? It says 30-day gratitude challenge. I know I am maybe an odd person, that I love playing with paper and stickers and stamps and all of those things, and being dangerously close to 50 years old. But this Live, Love, and Work Challenge, 30-day gratitude challenge, is for those of you who know yourselves. You know that you're never going to pick up scrapbooking paper, and you're probably not going to write anything down. But you know what? Almost all of us have one form of social media or another. And so I love this 30-day gratitude challenge. And I was thinking, boy, it would be so fun for those of us in the PACE community to do this together on social media. And so we could start today, but so you see as you look through this, so each day there's a prompt. And so you would snap a picture or you would write a social media post and something related to home that you're thankful for, or something related to nature that you're thankful for. So all of these, you can say that there's 30 days worth of living thankful, and you would use the hashtag live thankful. And it just gives you an easy way to express some gratitude without having to make a mess of your workstation like I just did. So hopefully that helps, and that's not intimidating for anybody. The other one, Zany, if you want to pull that one up for me, is just for those of you who are willing to take my challenge and who are willing to journal some gratitude. Here are some journal prompt ideas. Uh-oh, it went away.
Sorry, I was, let me get it back. Okay.
Anyway, this page that she's going to share some journal prompt ideas. And so, you know, sometimes we have a lot to say and be thankful for, and sometimes we wake up in the morning, our hair is on wrong, we just know before our feet hit the floor that it's kind of one of those days. And so I may have had a really crappy day or a really crappy week, and I can't think of anything to be super thankful for at that moment. But when I look at a prompt like this, something that made me smile today, and for me, a lot of times it's on my drive into work. I said earlier, I passed some pastures. That barbed wire holds in a bunch of cows. And so almost every morning as I'm driving into work, I laugh and I smile because I see the baby cows out there and they're playing and they're headbutting. And I literally saw one licking a telephone pole the other day and I had to laugh. So this will give you some really neat ways of looking at things. And on those days where you just struggle to think of something to be grateful for in your day-to-day, these prompts will give you some help on that. So these two resources are going to be made available to you. I promise I'll send some supply list and some step-by-step instructions on how to do these gratitude journals. But I know you guys' time is precious. You're eating lunch with one hand, watching us with another, and hoping that all of this fire hydrant of information that we have given you, you will retain one drop that will change your life. And I hope that it will. I hope that you will take up Chuck's challenge to embrace gratitude and appreciation, and not only for yourself, but really be vocal with. And that little notebook that I did, you could do one little page out of this. Right, I am so thankful for you, Christy, and put, hey, Christy, you were an amazing nurse today. You really went above and beyond in making sure that I had that information about that patient that I needed. You rock. And dropping that little card off on that nurse's desk, I promise you guys that it gives you the warm fuzzies that you were able to do it, but you never know when that person that you're giving that token of appreciation to, like, you'll make their day. They could be having a super, super crappy day, and your appreciation, your gratitude for them is what they need to keep going. It's like a drop of water for them in the desert. And so I just want to appreciate all of you guys for being here and putting up with me as I ramble and talk about something that I really am really passionate about. And I think that's all that I have to say, guys. I will turn it back over to Tony.
Thank you so much, Joanne, and also to Chuck. I'm very grateful that we had both such great resources for today, and I appreciate the gratitude journal prompts because I don't do a journal, but I do a gratitude jar, and I started that last New Year's Day before I even knew the COVID would be coming. And every day I put something that I'm grateful for. And if you do put your mindset that way, and you know you're going to put something in the jar, it does make you reflect and look for something that you have to be grateful for when something can't. If you've really had a bad day and it doesn't come to you easily, then immediately it changes and reframes how you're thinking. So I want to challenge everyone to do a journal or take it back to your team, and then we'd like to share them with Lynette Tolson at North Carolina, the PACE Association, so that we can put them on our Facebook page too and share them with others. Because I think that we do have a lot to be grateful for. And I know this year with 70 people, I just automatically, when I wake up in the morning, I'm grateful that I have a job. I'm grateful that I have a job that I love, and I have my health, and I get to come to work. I've actually worked every day during COVID, and I've been at my desk, and it's great to see other people and interact with them. So I do think that it would be wonderful if we could share and focus on a lot of the positives we have, particularly during the holiday seasons where I think it will be tough on some people. So again, thank you, Joanne and Chuck. Our next webinar is going to be December 18th, and there will be a panel discussion on telehealth hybrid delivery of PACE. And we're always looking for suggestions for these webinars, so please feel free to contact Lynette if you have an idea or you have something you'd like to learn more about. And we will, we have a lot of resources amongst ourselves, so we really would reach out to someone. And I appreciate you doing that. So this concludes our webinar series for today, and just thank you very much for participating and taking this time out of your day, and I wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving, and stay well. Thank you.